Oh, okay. Oh, yes. But I don't. But this doesn't look like YouTube. See what this is? Oops, sorry. Fundraiser. That's that one.
Are you interviewing that guy you mentioned?
Mm-hmm. So we can talk about it later. I actually remember a little bit, but I don't remember any details about it. It's also been 10 years, right? I don't know when the last time. Yeah.
We'll talk after.
Yep. We're actually at this point streaming and audio is live, so behave yourselves.
Thank you for the warning.
Nah, I don't want to behave
I'll be
myself.
on
Yes.
that was
Is it okay?
Don't go back to channel.
I mean, I could have stayed home and watched this.
You could.
What? There's
If you were on Slack and you got the information. Are you on
Yeah.
Slack?
Oh man.
This says that there's like 23 channels here.
There is.
Yeah.
So each one is kind of like a room you can, a chat room to chat in. So, but like, Slack is pretty standard among most tech organizations, and that's a lot of what we've tried to bring in is that we want to take some of these nice processes and tools that we use in tech companies
This one
to allow people to work from anywhere in
And
the
then you can
world
see if you click on the
and
topic
bring
up
them in here.
There you go.
Right
There's a
there.
link in there. Yep.
Oh.
And that will bring up that YouTube.
Okay.
Although if you're on the Wi-Fi, I would ask that you probably limit it a little bit or stop because we don't want to steal all of the bandwidth.
Yeah.
We want the stream to be able to make it out.
Oh, okay. Well.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah,
It
technology
will also
is
be
really
recorded, and you'll be able to see it after the fact. Review
Cool. It's
it.
really cool that you can make a live video and share it with the local media.
Yeah.
That really
So
nice.
I wanted to
with
wait
this.
for
I embarrassed him.
So will this still be up on the
Make
YouTube
Mac
in case you missed it?
Exactly.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Oh, excellent.
And eventually, I'd love to get to the point where we actually host a lot of these meetings like purely live, so people can actually participate remotely. And that's totally doable too, but we got to get people more comfortable with Slack and ticket systems. And other things.
So you could hold a remote meeting. You could hold like a conference meeting from.
I work remotely permanently, so all day I work with people in San Francisco, and that's all I do is I live in video chat rooms.
Oh, okay.
And it's very effective. And there's a lot of tools we can bring in to help people, but like to stay engaged, right? A lot of the problems is like people probably trail off a lot as they join in. They trail off,
Right. You can use it Slack.
Yeah.
I know that I and my chair a lot of times we've been using the Facebook messaging.
Right.
And he can talk to people. He can see me.
Yep.
With the camera from my phone, or I can vice versa. Like FaceTime or whatever.
So a lot of these tools can like help us increase engagement, and not only that, but increase productivity from the people who are engaged.
He said he had me on video, and I was at a Starbucks talking to a bunch of PDA. They kind of had a meeting after the rally, after their talk.
Could you mute your audio? Would you mute your speakers? We're getting some feedback from the chair from the stream. And then let's go ahead and get started. Laura has to rush off to another meeting as quickly as we can. So first, how many people here are new?
new to the meeting.
Yeah, new to the meeting, new to the county SMBC. Well, welcome. Let's go around really briefly, just for the new people.
I'm John Cesario. Yeah, that's me. Don't really need to say anything else.
Which LD?
Which LD? 15, right?
I don't know.
We'll have to look you up in the van.
Yeah, he has van too.
If
He's a
only there was
PC.
a map somewhere we could look up.
Yeah.
He's a PC
I'm
too.
15. I've
just
been
put him
attending a
on the
lot
spot.
of LD meetings.
Hi there.
Yes, this
Yes,
is SMAC.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Go to Maricopa.vote and click on the button that says what district am I
We
in.
got it. It's right there.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Hi guys.
Hi, Michael
yourself
Harris,
some coffee.
LD13.
Michelle Harris.
And Kate, you're kind of
Kate,
new.
LD18.
Cool. Well, my name's John. I'm with LD20, and Susie asked me to run the meeting tonight. So just really briefly, we have an agenda and some sign-in sheets here. If you haven't signed in yet, grab an agenda. And then Laura is going to speak to us about county messaging guidelines.
We don't know who Jay is. We don't know who Jay is. yet.
Jay's not new.
Oh.
I'm just an avatar.
Ah.
I don't know.
Where's the sign-in sheet still
So
around?
I'm taking over from Miguel. He had to leave to go to another event. My name is Laura Koppel. I am the field director here at the Maricopa County Democratic Party and have been for the past year. Actually, Miguel and I were co-field directors, and we ran phone banks and canvases out of this office and out of North Scottsdale in a lovely office that was paid for entirely by that district, and we focused almost exclusively on our countywide candidates, and lo and behold, 6 of our 9 candidates won their elections last year. So we're really proud of the work we did. I'm former county party chair back in the day. I was an LD chair way back in the day. So I appreciate what you all are doing in terms of working on the latest and greatest technology. I feel like the millennial generation will always stay one social media platform ahead of where I am. I mean, it's amazing how much my son knows about all of this stuff that I don't know. I was an early Facebook as well, and now I prefer Twitter. As far as everything else, I know nothing really, basically. But anyway, messaging on the county party side, we're Miguel did give me something here, but I may take a couple of different avenues, and I'd be happy to answer questions. So, we want to win bigger where we're strong, and I think what Miguel is referring to there is we get the most voter turnout in most of our outlying red districts outside of the Loop 101. If you take the 101 all the way around the county, we're certainly highest voter turnout in like Scottsdale, where I live, down in Ahwatukee, Chandler, out in the West Valley, LD's 21, 22, really high voter turnout there. Those are our red districts. But those districts, of course, give votes to all of our statewide and our statewide candidates coming up this next year. So, we don't want to run anything but a now 20 district race in 2018. We just brought in our 20th LD. It's part of a larger geographic region. It's way up there at the very top, LD1. So they just joined, they just formed an organization. They're that little southern sliver, it's really Anthem, is part of Maricopa County now, and they just organized and elected a whole new board last week. So we're now 20 districts out of 30 in the state, and we really feel that all 20 of these districts are important to work in, and so increase our strengths and then work on the lower voter turnout districts to, we've got some big challenges in blue districts, and we're looking at specific precincts within each of our districts right now to increase turnout where we're weakest and to build where we're strongest as well. So both ends of it. So, blue districts can't win and leave so many votes on the table. It's just a crying shame. When you look at turnout precinct by precinct, we are really concerned that we're missing a huge opportunity. We need to go after those pebble voters who don't vote. They have a ballot in their house, and yet it just sits there. So we know who they are. We've got a strategy to go talk to those folks and get them, get them to understand that this is their voice, and voting is not a scary thing. So, how many of y'all know about election, GOTV strategy, and campaign math?
A little.
A little bit. Okay. So we start with a win number and we work our way backward. And we want everybody to keep that in mind. We know what our win number is for every single based upon the last time we had a similar election, and we build our field plan, our GOTV plan, by going backwards from that election day to really even 6 to 8 months out, and build a field plan, understanding that this is where we have to end up, right at the finish line with X number of votes. And so we want to bring everyone in on that field plan, and understand that we have to look at the goal line and then work our way back. Yeah.
Are we going after the high efficacy voters?
We never do.
Well, let me say the Republicans do.
So we go after the high efficacy voters now to build our party. But in terms of GOTV, if we know that a voter votes at an 85 to 90, all the way up to 100% of the time, those are not our targeted voters.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm just saying that the Republican strategy is different from our own.
Well, I would be surprised. They've got a lot more money, and they can afford to spend resources on those high efficacy voters. Now is the time we contact high efficacy Democrats and introduce ourselves to them. I mean, I always think these odd numbered years, unless we're dealing with a city or school board election that's really an important race to us, these odd numbered years are building years. And that's what I always encourage LDs to do, is to get out there and meet those other people just like us who are probably, frustrated on social media, pardon me, or they're throwing stuff at their televisions. And so now's the time to contact those high efficacy Democrats, not to tell them to vote, because we know they vote, but to invite them and to get to know them and to have coffee with them in one-on-ones. And so, yeah.
I had the opportunity to meet Susan and Karen, and one of the questions that I was raising with them, optimization. So I was interested in possibly running, and I know we're live streaming, so I'm not going to say anyone's name or the district, but I was thinking about running in an LD, where I was told that the percentage of the Democrats in that legislative district was about 36%, with 20% being registered as independent. Now, since independent isn't a political party that's recognized here in the state of Arizona, it leads one to believe, are they on the left side of the spectrum or the right side of the spectrum? So I'm wondering as to whether or not you can actually canvass and focus, not so much on that 36%, because hopefully those Democrats will come out and vote on election day for the candidate that they, of course, are going to back with their party affiliation, but to optimize the search on social media sites like Facebook for people who identify with the independent party here in the state of Arizona. Is that possible with SMAC?
Well, messaging, I believe messaging has to come from every avenue. I mean, when we have an event, for example, we advertise it in every available media. In terms of our voting, can we find independents on social media? We already know who the independents are in our voter files. And so and we go after them. Believe me, all next summer will be an identifying period. We're talking to both Democrats and independents and persuadable Republicans.
The first step is identifying the supporters, right?
Of
Or
course.
identifying
Of course.
persuadables.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
find out how they feel now, and then
I-
whether we need to persuade them.
In terms of using social media to identify, we already have them identified. I mean, we know right now who they are. And we could talk in more detail offline. Again, as you say, we don't want to give away our secrets, but actually this is campaign 101. Yeah, I'd be happy to talk with you at another point. Yeah.
I know, just real quick, everybody who has laptops up, if you have the video stream up, please close the window. Video's a phone or laptop up, because we're getting reports that it's stuttering, and that's probably a vandal.
Oh,
What? You want me to close it?
I'm
Yes,
not-
yes, just keep it closed. Yes.
I'm not watching it.
I was, and then I.
I'm watching
a
you guys
different
live.
tab.
Just everything we can do to save a little bandwidth. All right, sorry, I apologize for interrupting.
So we, how many of you have either knocked on doors or made calls to voters? How about you two? That's good. That's good. I mean, it's good. And we're always aware that we have a lot of wrong numbers, phone numbers. We're not always aware of people who move or die or have changed their registration in some way that we're not aware of. I mean, we clean up our database all the time, and that's an important. We want to get our contact rate up right during GOTV. That's really important. So I'm just, Miguel writes administrative field work. We must spend the time we need to clean up our list so that we're not wasting time and money during get out the vote. Our contact rate will directly reflect the effort we put into these programs. And I would agree with you on that. In terms of the work that I do, it's all data-based and also good training and one-on-one work. I mean, I'm not always on my computer, always looking at the numbers, but too many times we go out on a canvas and never get that data back into our system. Too many times we cut lists to meet those high efficacy Democrats who we haven't talked to that much. And you're right, we have not talked enough to our highest efficacy voting Democrats, and we need to meet them and bring them in and say, and oftentimes, I'll call a neighbor who is like a 95 on their likelihood to vote for Democrats, and they vote all the time, and we don't call them. And somebody might say, gee, I haven't heard from the Democratic Party in a long, long time, and there's a reason for that. But those are the lists that we're cleaning right now. So data in, or garbage in, garbage out, or if you've got a good data entry plan at the LD level, that's important, because I sure see the result of it at the county level when people go out on this massive canvas and they work for weeks to plan, and they cut their lists and they send 30 people out to knock on doors. Well, what happens to all of that data? Oftentimes it's goes in the toilet. Yes.
My next question is, a lot of LDs have like email lists through MailChimp and things like that. Are those are pretty vital too to get contact voters just as much as man would be? Is that correct?
Well, MailChimp is used primarily to communicate with our membership.
Well, I understand that, but also I haven't really looked up the email that I got from Facebook where you can put the MailChimp, stream that into your Facebook page. That way you can get more viewers.
There's connectivity between the two.
Exactly.
Well, you're talking about a database though of your of your own membership at this point. I
Right.
don't think it makes as much sense for outreach to the literally hundreds of thousands of voters we need to reach.
Well, I know that there was another technique that Joe Downs used during the
Oh yes, absolutely. I apologize.
I'm just going.
Yes,
you know.
yes. Oh, Facebook is. I mean, if you pay,
Mm-hmm.
if
Yeah.
you pay the bucks, but it's worth every penny because the return I feel is such a much bigger bang for your dollar
Right.
than a flyer that somebody gets. You know, you pay a lot of money to send out 10,000 flyers or 50,000 flyers, whatever you are
Right.
doing, and the voter picks up the mail and tosses it.
Mhm.
But Facebook, you know, if you pay enough money, you can marry the data your voter database with Facebook, and it's amazing.
Well, you can, but you don't. But as far as I know, we're not authorized to do that.
You are if you have van access in your people.
We do. We have.
Absolutely. That was
Well,
true.
I mean, the way he explained it to us at a SMAC meeting was that he would download.
I've got
Excel
about 1
spreadsheet.
minute, and I've been talking for a
Okay,
long
all right.
time. But yes, you're right. So, you know, I think one of the most important messages that we're all hearing, both nationally and locally, is that we need to engage with voters all year round, not just the final, 10 weeks or final 3 months of any election. We need to meet them now and get to know them and talk with them rather than always just asking them for their vote.
Mhm.
So communicating our values with each other first. If we don't know how to work as a team within our own communities, if we don't hear each other's personal stories and begin to trust one another as we work in groups like this or in LDs or wherever it is, or one-on-one, if we can't build trust and teamwork within our own groups, then how are we going to be credible talking to a voter at the door? So I think it's really, really good practice to I heard a great story on NPR last week about Google and how teamwork and team meetings is so vitally important. I agree with everything they did because that's what we would ultimately like to do is work in teams, get to know each other. I can't tell you the number of times I've talked with LD boards or a board member in a given legislative district who will tell me, oh, we don't get along that well. And my statement is, or my question is, when was the last time you had coffee with anyone on your board? So I think the messaging comes first from within, and to develop that message of our values, and they can why are there's so many great lines about how disorganized Democrats are, but there's a reason for that. It's because we all have our own thing. We're maybe not all on the same page with all of the same issues. And you know what? I'm fine with that. If you can speak about what matters to you with a genuine, strong message, and you feel absolutely passionate and have a lot of conviction for what you believe, and you can describe what that means to you, then you can go knock on a door and have a conversation, not necessarily a long one about that issue, but if you know why you're fighting, if you know why it is that you're in this room today, if you know why it is that you go to an LD meeting, then you can have that conversation at the door. So messaging has to start with you and then a small group and so on. I took up much more of your time than
Before
I
you go, we're
Yes.
going to be having band training soon, aren't we? for PCs?
Well, van training is ongoing through SAM
Okay.
online. I have always offered van training in small groups myself, and I've only one person has taken advantage of it.
Really?
Yeah, I worked with a PC Monday night.
Man, I can always use refreshers. But we're all PCs here, is that right?
Well,
Yeah.
I took advantage of it years ago.
And it's never made clear to us, the reason that we're PCs isn't so we can go to meetings and vote for Laura for county chair. It's also, our job is to get to know our neighbors, the Democrats in our precinct as well as the independents if necessary, and just get to know them. And what I learned from Judy Kennedy 10 years ago was get together with your Democrats in your precinct and ask them how they feel about things. And if Janet Napolitano was here, if Jim Peterson was here, what would you tell them? What does Democrat mean to you? I go around, I sort the high efficacy Democrats, as John was saying, and the ones who vote in every election. And so when I want petition signatures to get candidates on the ballot, those are the people I go and knock on their door, say, hi, I'm Randall, I'm your Democratic volunteer in the precinct here. And I get them to sign some petitions, and they're high efficacy Dems, so I figure they'll be willing. If they care enough to vote that much, maybe they'll care enough to stand there and sign a stack of petitions while I ask them questions, rather than tell them what I think they need to know, like I'm telling you guys now. I ask them what they think that I need to know and how they feel about stuff, what pisses them off.
Let me pause you for just a moment. Laura, thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
We
Yeah, thank you,
appreciate
Laura.
it.
I'm sorry. I
No, it's
rattled
okay. We
on.
know you've got to get going. Thank you very much.
All right, you guys take
Yeah.
care. Thank you for what you're doing.
But just building relationships in the neighborhood, and they appreciate you coming by and talking to them and asking them how they feel about stuff. And in fact, this is an anecdote from the Obama campaign in '08, was that people kept saying, wow, nobody ever came by and knocked on my door and asked me how I felt about stuff before. They were impressed with that, and that's how Obama won the White House, is one voter at a time. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And if you want to be a candidate for the legislature or something, okay, well, as Laura says, you figure out your win number and you go meet all your voters, ask them how they feel about stuff. And as George Burns once said about acting, he said, acting is all about authenticity. If you can fake that, you got it made.
All right. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and move on in our agenda. So the next thing is, if you guys were at the last meeting, we had talked about mission and value statements for SMAC. And LD18 had set up theirs, and so we were using them as a great example of what we could do. So everyone who has an agenda should actually be able to see what those are there. And so we talked about it last meeting, and we talked about coming back and getting a better idea of how we may want to create one for the county SMAC. So I'd like to open it up and see if there are anyone who has any ideas on that. Or should we first go through and maybe read what LD18 did again?
Let's do that. Let's do a refresher of last time.
Yeah, absolutely. So LD18 set up some mission statements, and then they set up a vision statement and some values. So let's go ahead and start with that mission statement. They have to strengthen LD18 and the Democratic Party through digital communication, which is doubled on the agenda there. And then for a vision statement, they have to educate, energize, and empower LD18 voters through dissemination of information designed to promote activism in the democratic process. And then for values, they say that they are committed to integrity, being a model of ethical digital citizenship, inclusivity, engaging all sectors of the community, and collaboration, reaching across boundaries to build community. So, if we were going to try and adapt something like that to a county level for the SMAC, what do we think we might be interested in? Does anyone have any thoughts?
What concrete things has LD18 done to achieve that agenda so far?
So I'm from LD18. I was there when we had this meeting. The first thing that we did when this was a 2 meetings worth process for us to sit down and just the people on that committee to really brainstorm and figure out what we wanted to say. So it was very much a process that we were all a part of, and we chose each word really deliberately. So that was the first portion. The next thing that we are looking at, which is not on here, is creating measurable goals to help support those things. So we've set those goals, and we set them first for us, and then we had another conversation that perhaps that really is the job to set the goals for the LD, for the executive boards in the LDs to determine what those are, because SMAC shouldn't be driving the goals of the LD. We should be technically
What are the goals?
Am I allowed to say them on here?
Well, that's up to you. I don't know how your LD feels about that.
I don't know either.
Okay.
So I can share them offline.
Do we have
Yeah.
concrete metrics, like measurable number metrics?
We set some, and then the next step for us is to create an action plan that will help us complete them.
Do we have a way to measure those objectives?
Yes.
So I think I was trying to follow a bunch of different LDs Facebook pages to find out what their how well they were doing, how we were doing it compared to them, like in reaching people, engaging people, and stuff like that.
So for
I even did. I haven't looked at what that tracking. I was even doing the GOP LD25 Facebook page to see what type of.
Yep, I've attended my LD15 GOP meeting.
Oh, yeah?
Pretty consistently.
Have you? I think what John was hitting on though is like hugely important, right? Like in the tech industry, we really focus on creating things that we can measure against whatever our goals are, so that we can actually keep track of what we're doing to meet them.
There's actually.
So can I ask a couple questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So is the vision for this whole mission statement, is it to just be for the Maricopa County, this group, or is it to propagate through all the LDs that are within?
It's really just to be for this group. And then I suppose that if an LD wanted to try and model their own off of it, that would be great.
I mean, the idea would be to build some best practices.
Right.
So that
Oh, yeah,
if you
absolutely.
came in, you could
The idea of this group is to kind of come up with some of what we think those best practices are, how to communicate, and then to help the LDs along the route.
All right, so a couple other questions quick about this.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're in LD 13, so we stretch out to Yuma. And so our challenges are somewhat different than some other districts that are focused within the Maricopa County Phoenix metropolitan area, where you're more concentrated. We have a hard time talking. We can't all come to LD. Physically can't.
And that's something that I've talked about a lot, and that's why we want remote. We want to bring more technology, and we want to enable people through Facebook, through Slack, through Google Hangouts, because we don't want people to have to come physically.
Right, so I'm with you. So my next question though is, as far as a messaging tool that is an official messaging component of the Democratic Party, there's a whole bunch. There's Stronger Together, there's Indivisible, there's all these different activist things going on out there.
2020,
right, which are fantastic. But it seems to me that there's a more specific stream of information or more specific mission to the point, which is why I spoke up here. How we choose our content, where we get our content, why we disseminate certain content, that sort of stuff, I think is what I'm looking to learn from this group, and I think feeds back into the mission. I think if I'm reading a good mission statement, it should tell me what I should expect to see when I open up whatever social media application.
I think
have a user expectation. That's it's going to be.
This team really has an opportunity to define that, because I don't believe there's a lot of concrete thing. There is not a concrete strategy for what you're talking about.
Because I don't want to be an echo chamber for STAS. STAS is great, but we don't need it. Stronger Together, Arizona.
Okay.
That's
another activist group.
Yeah, there's 10,000.
One more activist.
There's 10,000 people on
which it's awesome how much energy there is.
It's great, but it's not. We shouldn't just be cross-posting everything.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Right. Right. And so that's part of the reason why in a couple of minutes here we're going to talk a lot about Slack, which is a chat platform that we're trying to get people engaged in so that we can all be on the same page. We can share things that we can, share messages that we want to share across the spectrum. But yeah, we're definitely trying to get to where we're more all on the same page.
So we felt like we had a lot of catching up to do, I think. And
I don't think you
No,
do.
you guys are.
LD18 is a large district, and we have very good attendance at our meetings, and we've only just started really trying to hone that message.
There really wasn't anything until the November election.
Yeah.
Really, there really wasn't anything.
And when I asked, I felt that way when I joined the social media committee for LD18, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be lost. And they sat down. They're like, "Wow, we've never had this many people here before."
Well,
So it was new.
So and it's not like it wasn't like there. It's just that there's a lot of catching up for the organization in general and getting on top of new tools and new processes. And me personally, that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I attend all these meetings, is not to worry about the content of the message, but how can I help make more effective platforms? How can I make Stronger Together more stronger? How can I make 2020 stronger? And more importantly, how can I make sure there's a feedback cycle from those groups to the Democratic Party and then back, so that they're talking to each other and that they're both leveraging each other's strengths to do the important work. At the end of the day, what we measure is voters, right? But this is a pretty small working group. Okay? So, I mean, yes, maybe we should work on content, but I mean, do we really need another website?
No, and I don't believe in not another website.
Yeah.
It's another, what channels do you want to use to pull your content from? Okay, am I gonna start posting stuff from Occupy Democrats or Breitbart?
And that's why we
Right.
said digital citizenship, because that was
Right.
really important.
Because I think these things are.
What's wrong with Occupy Democrats?
Breitbart, no.
Let's not pick names.
Well, no,
Yeah.
no.
But yes, I
Yeah.
just
Quality content.
Right,
exactly.
With valid and with documented information that you can pull from numerous different
Right.
sources and maybe link back to .gov places, that kind
Right.
of thing.
Credible
So I think
sources. that-
professional and ethical sources
I
that
think
represent. Yeah.
Kind of, and I don't mean another web page. I don't mean email distribution list with what to post for the day. I mean with some general guidelines of things that have reliable information, that help maybe explain the American healthcare. You know what I mean? That help break it down for you people, so that your people in your district can talk about it intelligently to other people that they encounter, because what we want, right, when they go out and knock on doors and stuff.
Are there talking points we can pull from? Does anybody know? Anybody hear ADP?
That's one
That's
question.
what- yeah.
Well, I get
No,
things
because parents usually.
from Democrats, from the Democratic website or whatever. The other.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm really interested in, to be honest with you. And
Yeah, we'll share whatever we've got. So.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. These are the kind of nuts and bolts that we're talking about. So I think you're right for starting here, but like saying, we were thinking that.
Nope. This is it. We are working on that.
Got it. Okay.
It is up to us.
Yes.
Because the so-called communications department of our party is not necessarily very good at what they're supposed to be doing. And it's up to you and us who get to know our neighbors and figure out what works for communicating with them.
Well, I know a lot of times that reputable sites you're talking about, like CNN and.
I'm talking about NPR.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
at the same time, we're also a very
Right,
small
we are
working
too.
group within the organization. So
Right.
we're not trying to, we shouldn't be thinking about how we're going to change the whole process. It's like, what is this small, focused working group trying to achieve? What are those measurable objectives? And how do we get there? And so,
We're talking about it.
Back to the mission statement.
yes,
And
to
John-
strengthen.
John, are we talking about an LD size focus or a
No, we're talking
precinct?
about as at the county
A
level.
county-wide focus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're not dividing it up into LDs?
No,
Precinct?
the LDs, right? The
Okay.
LDs are, I don't want to say they're on their own. In fact, we want them not to be on their own. But the LDs might have a slightly different one that works
Right.
for them, right? There may be,
Right.
well, there are some blue LDs
Now to
out there,
communicate with
and
all
it's
the voters.
entirely different for them.
My question is to communicate with all the voters of Maricopa County,
Yeah.
or maybe all the Democrats, or all the ones that have a good van score for us. That takes either a lot of TV commercials and money, or it takes a lot of people making phone calls and knocking on doors.
Or
And
maybe
that-
you're kind of stumbling on the mission there, right? Which
Well,
is
that's
to
what-
work through the LDs.
The reason we have precinct committees is because
Right.
the precinct is a manageable size
Right.
Right.
audience. So we can work on one voter at a time, because other than one voter at a time, now we can use social media, we can have Facebook and websites and all that stuff, which is good to do. But in order to get people to look at our Facebook page or our website, or give us their email address, God forbid, we have to go knock on their door and make them think that we care about them and we want to get to know them.
Yeah.
And then they're more likely to want to communicate with us.
And when you say give us their email address, God forbid, that's actually a
Yeah.
really important thing. How many times have you been asked for an email address and added to one more mailing list, right? That is then spamming you.
I just
So-
try to get them to like our Facebook page.
Okay.
And if they will do that, now some people have Facebook phobia, and that's a problem, but we have to find other ways to communicate. And
So there's
sometimes-
lots of ways that we
Yeah.
should be talking about communicating, and we need to make that as manageable as possible, right?
Yeah,
So you kind of brought it to there. Then maybe our mission statement, if I'm going to kind of steal some of the words here, is to strengthen the LDs and their communication practice.
Yes, through this small work. we
LD
can create
18
platforms
is a
for-
very active LD. They have a lot of PCs, and they're ready to go out there and knock on doors. That's how they got Mitzi and Sean elected.
Well, I believe Bo Jung is on their SMAC for LD.
On ours, no.
No,
He's 17.
24.
He's 24.
Oh, 24.
Is Frank 18? Do you know?
Frank is 12. I
So
think.
when you think about social media, right? What do you want people? You want people to engage,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Well, we want to use it as a tool to get them to engage in real life. Right? So like part of
Right,
it is the messaging,
Right.
right? And then the other part of it is how does that manifest in actual events?
Right. So maybe rather than strengthen, and it seems like you're thinking, you want to engage.
Specific to social media, as opposed to
Right. So, but, like, what does that mean in social media? Like,
Well,
concrete
this is for
examples.
SMAC, right?
Right, right.
Mhm.
But like, what? So, give an example of what you would do through social media to accomplish it.
To accomplish that goal, part of it would be announcing events and activities, right? There's the We the People Summit coming up, right? So I'm trying to push that all over the place because I would like people to attend. That would get them interested. That would let them know about all the organizations out there and how they can participate, maybe get educated on things. And then, I mean, for us within our LD, we've got about 6 people going, and we're going to divvy up events that we're going to go to, so we can bring all that information home and use it. So I mean, events.
So, something this group could do, and although this is not something we need an entire group to do, is to take a van list of likely Arizona attendees within the region and state and apply a Facebook campaign to those events.
Okay, I have no idea.
That is, we can make sure very, very accurately that every single Democrat in the state gets a blip on their Facebook feed that says, "Come to this event." And all it takes is money.
We
So
can
I think-
also segregate those to different areas. We can get down to different demographics, right? If it's a women's empowerment meeting, you can bring in more women.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with BAN?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what I was going to say is that a lot of times, and even from some of my city council candidates that were successful at getting elected, that live videos are very effective, like live videos of events and things like that, and live videos of meetings. And you share that to your Facebook or your
Especially
Twitter.
for those LDs that have a very remote or a very dispersed
Well,
population.
Well,
Well, for
example, I
anyone,
mean,
because
like
it
13.
engages people that can't come.
Right, it's
Meetings,
the
you can
dialogue
do it that way.
aspect that makes social media so unique, and that's why the word engagement. There are people out there that are never going to get off of their couch. They're never going to come to an LD meeting, but they're going to vote. And I'll tell you what, there was nobody in our neighborhood. There was nobody knocking on doors. There's nobody doing nothing in our area during the last cycle. And so we want to let those people not feel like they're forgotten, and we want to be an opportunity for them to come to us as well. So it's a bi-directional.
So maybe it's something like to engage county Democrats through social media and communication.
It sounds like we could do a Facebook marketing club.
Well,
And we could
see,
maybe for the next meeting we could bring Joe in to talk a little bit about that. I know he has a
Well,
lot of experience there.
like even with for $5 you can boost like your event, your
Anything.
meeting, and which I've done. I got a social media budget, so I just been doing $5, and that really boosts up the attendance, the interest, and the.
It doesn't cost that much.
Yeah.
And with the van, you can actually really amplify those efforts because you can download those people as a CSV and upload those as a targeted campaign within Facebook. And when you do that, it's going to end up on their feed, period. Facebook, if they
Yeah.
have a Facebook, it will end up there. And you will guarantee that they see it. And just costs money and time.
Right.
But we have the it's a force multiplier to be able to access the actual raw database.
Right.
Like, that's the big deal, because just boosting it means you're gonna do it. You've got some nice Facebook tags that you can use. You can access Facebook's database of what they perceive people as. But if you combine that with the idea that we have all this van data of you can make sure that your neighborhood does not get neglected, because you can make sure that they have a Facebook feed that says, here's a video of people in your neighborhood saying, this is why I'm a Democrat, and here's a video of that. Here's the event in your neighborhood. Here's the local Democrat barbecue. Like, you can make sure they see it. And even if they don't come, they are engaged because you know their eyeballs have it. So it sounds like a concrete thing we can definitely do is we got to get Joe in here to regurgitate that Facebook marketing class over and over again. That needs to be a regular thing. We probably need to get other people teaching that as well.
Yeah, I guess that's why.
And you know, when we announced to the LD chairs next time, it should be specified that that's going to be in there, right? So that we can get more people to participate in it.
Right.
And you can get people that want people
Right.
to
Yeah.
train us.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm
You know,
saying.
so I go back and I train
Okay.
2 people.
We can train all, like, make sure every LD has one single person who knows this stuff well. And we don't need every chair to know this. We just need to know that they have resources they can rely
LD30
on.
were as if they are here with Facebook. Janice doing
Yeah.
Miriam. And then my daughter and
I'm
Ben,
like,
they're some of our social media.
And that's what we need to
Does
do.
she like our page?
Huh?
Does she like our page?
We got 2 pages and she can't get rid of the other donations.
Oh, we have two. We have an old one that's
I
dead,
know.
and
it's
we have
driving
to
her
kill it
crazy.
and get rid of it.
My daughter is willing. She needs
so-
to help.
Okay, so if our mission is to engage county Democrats through digital communication, how do we follow that through with a vision statement that helps us meet that mission?
So to me, vision statement is perfect future state, right? So if we've done this, what is the perfect future? We've got an entire Maricopa, every Democrat in Maricopa County is actively communicating, networking online across districts, between, to support party.
For every Democrat? I mean, like,
Why not? It's a vision.
I mean, it's a vision, but I'm just, can we refine it to something pragmatic?
We can do whatever we want.
I know, like, but I mean, like, but measuring against that is difficult because you're not going to make measurable progress.
Oh, of course you are. You started at 5%, and then you got to 20%. That's 4 times as much. It's not
Sure.
100, but you still got work to do. As a vision, the vision is everybody. You're never done. You're never finished.
Is there a more short-term one that we can accomplish? Like, say, can we set a goal and say that maybe by the end of next quarter, can we make sure that every single LD has tech people to help them with their Facebook page and their marketing?
Well, maybe goals are a separate thing that actually build toward the vision, right?
Measurable goals.
Yes.
Yeah, my question is that you may have some LDs that maybe have somebody who's able to do it, but they don't have time to come to this meeting here. Is there a way we can invite them to Slack?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
No. One of our goals here, and I kind of want to get through this, is to do some very intense looking at Slack.
Because I know somebody
talking
in
about that some more.
LD16 who's very good
Yeah.
with web pages and
Yeah, we'll show you in here how to invite someone to Slack and get them in there. And we'll also show you, for anyone who isn't on it yet, what the process of signing into Slack for the first time looks like and accepting the invitation.
Tell me what Slack is again.
Slack is a communication platform. It's a chat platform, and we're going to go through that in a lot more detail in a couple of moments.
Can you read that vision statement?
Sure. The modified.
Yeah, the
Where we
a new
are.
one now.
Yeah. So right now we have to engage county Democrats through digital communication.
Those that are willing to engage digitally.
And you
No,
can add
no,
at the
no.
end in order
Not
to
all of
strengthen. In order to strengthen, you can add at the end as a result in order to strengthen the party.
Yeah, sure.
I would say, like, for me, when I think about the vision piece, I had attended one of the Latino Outreach Committee meetings that are starting to pick up. And, I was talking about our social media and how many people we were able to reach, between our meetings and our media. And they said, well, that's great for you, but not everybody has a social media committee. So every LD, I think that needs to be a measurable goal.
Yeah.
Every
Every
LD
LD having
needs to
one.
have a social media committee that
We don't
we are
have-
responsible for
Well, either-
training.
I'm in it.
People need to understand, like, so for example, somebody else was handling the social media for another LD. I don't even remember which one it was, but on their Twitter feed, when I went to look at it, they were just posting pictures and there was not a link. They thought that they were posting a link to an action, but they were just posting a photo instead. So, you know, it was clear that we had a problem using the platform. So I think in addition to saying we want to have people in these positions, you know, we have, I don't know, we've got 8 people who want to do stuff, but other LDs might have 1 or 2 people.
Right.
So they have to be responsible for the social media.
And the more we
presence for
build
the
up, the
entire
more we're
LD.
going to be capable of engaging every Democrat. So should we, let me ask you guys something. Is it too bold to say that we want to engage the county Democrats? Should we actually be more pragmatic and say that we're going to do that by building up the LD SMAC committee?
I say so. I mean, I had asked when Susie went to the last chairs meeting, I guess she was there with Janie, I think it was, and I had put together a little survey on paper, so it was easy and didn't require technology for everybody, but to find out what the status was for each LD of what they had and what they were using. You know, some LDs might focus more on Facebook, some might focus more on Twitter. That's not bad. You know, it reaches whomever is their audience a little bit better. But if we don't know who has anything, that is tougher.
Right. I'm thinking about, I need to do more with G+, Google+. I need to do more with, I'd like to start an Instagram account for us because Instagram is very, very good. A lot of different organizations like Indivisible have Instagram accounts.
Instagram is really, really big, especially for younger people.
And I've been using Instagram, my personal Instagram account, which is really pretty cool because I get a lot of people that are also on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you can do live video on that too.
So
I have a question. What about, instead of engaging, what about something like providing, with our mission is providing leadership?
providing,
You know, and
How about empowerment?
And then you've
empowering.
got, so in other words,
You want an energy,
SMAC is a place.
you want a verb, you want a strong verb.
Yeah.
Right? You don't
So
want-
to empower, is that a strong word?
To empower the Democratic LDs, or to,
To empower the Democratic LDs
Empower them to do
to communicate through
to
social media.
communicate more effectively, right?
Yeah.
So
Why
in
would
other
you-
words, it's a point for that people can turn to. LDs can possibly
We know
turn
these
to.
LDs have things to say. They just need help saying it. That's generally what I
Right.
think. And I don't think that this
Absolutely.
small group is going to be the be all end all of content creation within the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Nor do we have the authority to do that either. But
No.
what we can do is make sure that everyone who does knows how to do it right and can do it better. And that's the kind of stuff that I can help with. That's what I feel comfortable
So
doing.
you're talking about education.
Yeah, building frameworks and education so that they can more effectively communicate.
more on the tech side or more on the message?
Yes.
Both.
I see your eyes light up around the tech side.
Well,
That's what I do.
we're both tech.
That's what I can help with. That's what I can help, and that's where I honestly see a huge deficit. It's honestly shameful that the Democratic Party does not have a strong tech field. Like it is.
Given that you know, you look at all of the large tech companies out there, and they're primarily Democrat.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's the communication strategy.
Yeah.
So we definitely need to marry those. I'm the marketing guy, so
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. But we
Yes.
we can give.
So
you
we care
tools to
about
do
the
your-
framework and the tools. You care about the message,
Right.
right? You care about the content.
Yeah, I like that idea, Frank.
So to me, like,
Good.
to me, like, there
Draw
should
one
be a
to the
time when we get into like a hot seat and we need to get a message out to everybody fast, we should be able to get on Slack, tell all the
LDs.
heads of SMAC in
Yep.
each LD and say, you need to put this on Twitter, you know, at this hour, put this out
You
at
need to
this
see this
time.
on your Facebook.
That shouldn't
yeah.
happen frequently, but
Right.
when you need that that emergency channel, like, to me, the vision is there's a connected network that the county can access when it needs to.
And that's what I want. More than
I think
anything,
of the
that's
state
what I want to build.
legislature, Right?
We
You know
need,
what I mean?
yeah.
Bills are, they just slip this bill in here.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
need you to call.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So you're talking about building the technology. I'm really sorry. Can you stop doing that?
Okay.
I'm trying to look at him and your head keeps rolling back and forth.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So we're talking about educating you're talking about educating the LDs to get certain communications capabilities up and running. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So,
Okay.
and have we picked these communications capabilities that we want each and every LD to
It
have?
sounds like Facebook is probably the primary one we should focus on because I see a lot of
And
LDs
Slack.
with yes, well Slack. Okay, yes,
Slack's for internal communications.
Yes.
Facebook for reaching out to people.
Yeah, Slack is to organize us and then the other LDs, but the Facebook is what we need to get them to do. That's the goal.
Well,
Like,
I would like to get to do more Twitter, but
that too. But it sounds like from like what I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Marcia was talking about how her LD is struggling just to get a page up on Facebook. That should not be an issue for our party.
Yeah.
That should not be an issue for our group. And we
Marcia,
can,
aren't you in 30?
I gotta get on Slack and get
So
together with somebody.
So
So you're
I know you're
talking,
joking.
you're
I
talking
just
about
saw you the other night, right?
No,
SMAC being
no,
to
sweetheart,
educate
I've
the
been-
LDs engaging,
We
strengthening.
If-
Is that what we're
So
doing?
really, yeah, really our goal or our, right. So if we're going to restate the mission statement, it's to somehow help the LDs communicate with people. How do we make
I'd
that
like to
work
invite
better?
you to look
Marketing.
at Arizona Legislative District 30 Democrats Facebook page. I invite all of you.
So I'd like
it's
to
real easy to find.
I'd like to get a good strong
Legend.
mission statement down, and then we really don't have that much time left for the scheduled time. So I'd like to get a strong mission statement down, and then I want to work on Slack and helping other people understand Slack so that we have a better communication platform and we continue working on this there.
can you read it off again?
Yeah.
Reread off the whole thing again.
Well, I think we're talking about now changing that mission statement to helping the legislative districts, right?
Okay.
So I was asking marketing, how do we word that in a way that's more appealing?
So your mission is to support and promote a communications framework and strategy.
Woohoo!
There we go.
Wow, hold on.
Support
My
and what?
fingers
Support
don't write
and
that
promote.
fast. Support and promote
Support.
a communication.
We are the
To
communication.
promote
people.
and support a communications framework and strategy.
I love it.
You're talking about Slack.com.
Yes, we are.
Oh,
And we'll go over
thank
that.
you.
Let's move.
Now I know.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna
Strategy.
go into that
That
in
period.
just a moment here.
Let-
Now I know what you're talking
I'm
about.
sure there's a little bit more to the sentence.
we are absolutely
To
gonna
support
go
and
back.
promote a communications framework and strategy.
We're getting kicked out of here.
Where work happens.
Within each LD,
So I create a new team.
or I don't know.
Let's
No. We have a team. We're gonna go into that right now.
Yeah, okay.
Let's
We're moving on to Slack.
Yeah, so really quickly, just to recap, what we came up with for a mission statement is to support and promote a communications framework and strategy. That's really simple, really clean. I like it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's love it.
Let's
talk
move
about-
on to Slack.
Yeah.
Yes, doing stuff.
So really quickly, just show of hands, who is on Slack?
Not yet.
I am now.
Okay. So we'll get you on Slack.
We just need
So-
your email address.
Which you guys put in here, yes?
Pull your-
Did you guys
pull your
sign it?
back, you're on.
So we're gonna send you an invite to that email address to join Slack.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
I can hardly wait.
So
All right.
should we demo this? Should
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to actually power it up right now. If you want to turn off the lights.
Chat.
All right.
I
Yeah,
haven't
yes.
read it.
We're gonna show a quick demo of John using Slack and some of the capabilities on it.
What's your name?
I'm John.
John.
Sorry.
Oh, there's two.
He's-
Are there
yeah.
two Johns?
Yeah, he's got an H.
I've got an H.
Ah, John.
All right, so let's see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys through actually getting on it from start to finish. So I have another email address set up. I'm going to invite myself to it.
Can you expand the window?
No,
No.
no, not the way that it's set up. I can maybe make it bigger.
Okay.
It's all right.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it.
Fine.
Roll with it.
All right. So first thing I'm going to do is
This
you
is
guys-
after you've downloaded and installed, like you've logged
well,
in.
that was through the web, you are. But yes, that would be after. What I'm actually going to do first is invite an address I set up for myself earlier that is not currently on here, so you can see what it looks like to actually join from an invite.
It still looks like
Right? I was just thinking.
Yeah, this projector maybe
Maybe talk
isn't
about
that.
the
Where do
resolution.
you do
We'll,
that?
we'll work on that. So, but
Yeah,
this is-
this video will also be on YouTube later, guys, and it should be much clearer there. I'm recording locally as well.
Okay,
All right. So
just an email address. He sent it to himself. So now he's going over to his email account. He's got an email from Slack that says, "Come join our Slack."
yeah. So
And
let
now
me
Slack
get
is
logged out.
divided up into what we call teams. A team is like a specific organization. Like a company would have a team, right? But then within that company, you would have various sub-organizations. And so first we join the company or the organization. This one is called AZ Blue. That's what we've named it. This is currently the MCDP Slack so far, but there's plenty of ADP members as well. All right. So when you guys sign in, you're actually going to use your full name there, and then a username can be whatever you'd like it to be. But your full name in the Your Name section is really important. I already have a John Furrer on there, so I'm just creating this test user so that we can see it. If you don't have a full name on there, I will harass you. We check this against the van. Please be a PC. We want to know you're not, trying to exfiltrate data or whatever. So after you do that, it's going to ask you to create a password, which I just did. And then it's going to just go through a simple user terms of service, read it, and then agree. Or don't read it and become part of the human centipede. So when you get logged in, this is through the web browser. It's going to look just like this. And this is actually Slack. It's going to run you through a quick little kind of tour of how to work through it. It says type something and hit enter. So we're talking to Slack bot here. He says, pleasure to meet you. Tells you that messaging happens in channels. So he really kind of walks you through everything. So we want to go over the UI real quick? Yeah. So it's going to walk you through a bunch of stuff. You'll notice right off the bat over in the left-hand side here, you have some channels that are set up. Channels are like chat rooms.
Right. So that's pound. They always going to have a pound in front of them and then a name. By default, you're going to get tossed into pound general and pound random. And then you have these direct messages. This is where people talk directly to you. They're private messaging you here, okay? So Greetbot popped in and it told us, welcome, please introduce yourself in pound intro. So you can click on that and join pound intro and then introduce yourself. I'm not going to do it right now because it would confuse people. And then he also tells you to go ahead and update your profile by entering in your LD and what your role is in that LD in the What I Do section, and gives you a URL to further help documents and just reminds you to keep it kind of clean. So this is a direct message. It's from Bo Jung. And so he just messaged us as a test. Hi, Bo. He is watching us live.
Maybe show up a group chat as well.
Yeah. So if we went in here and
Say
actually went to start a new message, and you had, like John said, a small working group, right? So let's say I'm going to work directly with Bojong, maybe John Furr, which is my regular user. I could go ahead and create that. And now I have just those people in a direct message. And you can talk directly to them. Let's say that you have joined and you're the first member from your LD that's joined, but you know you're going to get all of your other LD members to join. You can create a channel for your LD members that would be just for them. And it could be public or private. I think that your default LD channel should be public. And then maybe you have an LD board channel that can be private, which means that only people that are invited to it can join it.
And of course, don't say anything on Slack that you don't want being read aloud by a judge. These technical tools can get subpoenaed, just like every other organizational communication tool. So it's important to keep your language respectful and professional.
That's just like us on Facebook and Twitter.
I mean, as always, be professional.
And then inside channels, if you were to actually click on channels itself, you'll get a listing of all the channels that are currently there. For everyone who's here, there's a few channels that are surrounding the SMAC. Please join them. And in those, we do things like discuss the meetings that are coming up. We make sure that the topic is updated with the new date and the live stream URL for it. And then we'll continue talking about the mission and vision statements in those channels throughout the next month before our next meeting.
So then you actually get work done.
Yes, right, and that's
which is really good.
And that's what I hope these tools become, is ways for people to continue forming
efficient,
ephemeral, ad hoc working groups all day, every day, not just in these meetings. And so when we come to these meetings, what we're going to say is, "What did you do?" Right, and that's what we should be doing. What did you do, and what are you going to do next month, next week? And then you're going to say, "I'm going to go do this," and you get your working group. You sign up in a Slack channel, and you get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other thing to cover is that Slack has apps, right, which are a little bit more native to your computer. So if you went to just slack.com, you can download the app for, say, Mac. And so the app looks like this. Let me go ahead and bring up the app here. So the app looks like this. And you could
Log in. So we know that the team is AZ Dems. We click continue there. Why is it not taking that? Yeah.
It's just different.
Well, this is an actual
It is.
native application, so
Right.
rather than having to log into a web browser, you
Right.
can have like an
It's going to give notifications also that are native to your OS. The more important thing, I think, is to know that there is an app for your phone.
Yes.
And through that, you can control what kind of notifications you get. But it's really useful, right? Because that way you don't have to be on it, constantly watching. But when someone mentions you, which they can do by doing @ and then your username, or just @ and your full name.
Why don't you at me, John? We'll show up right here live.
Can you do notifications on your regular laptop? Or
Exactly, exactly, and that's why you usually want to get it. You can get it installed on your computer, you can get it installed on your phone, so that you're never disconnected fully from
or tablet,
right?
Everything,
and that means that let's say we're working on that mission statement, and you said something, and I want to ask you a question, and you logged off Slack yesterday, and I'm just coming back to it, right? I would mention you like this, and I would say, whatever, and you'll actually get a notification now that tells you that someone just mentioned you. Are you on the Wi-Fi?
Yes.
No, that's a poor choice.
So the big benefit of all this, is that we're not sending emails around to each other and missing.
Right.
A collaborative room.
And it's collaborative with Slack. You see the history from the previous conversation. So if you logged in for the first time today, you would go in there and you'd see stuff that we were talking about yesterday, even though you were never part of that channel before.
So yeah, see, so I just got the message. What all he did is, it's an @ symbol. If you type an @ symbol and start typing letters, you will start searching the directory, and it will help you autocomplete, pinging people directly. And when you do that, that's when their phone is going to beep. That's when their browser is going to alert.
Conversation as on the channel.
Exactly, and that's what we want. That's what I want to do. Is I want to give a way for people to come in, start working, collaborate, do work, and maybe go away for a little bit if they want to, and then they can come back, because that's kind of the nature of.
So you could create a group. You could create a group of people.
Yes.
That a private group.
Yeah, a private channel, right? That's one of the things we were showing.
Yeah.
Is you can create a private channel, and then it's invite only. So when I go into, I'm not showing that window. Hold on.
You mentioned you were also include file sharing, or is it?
Yes, there is file sharing. There's a bunch of other things. Usually, so this is basically like the chat thing for vast majority of large tech companies.
Right.
But complementing it is usually Google Docs.
Yeah.
And Google Docs is fantastic for collaborating on single documents and spreadsheets. And but this is how you share it. This is how you link to it. But at the same time, like, you're going to do your work in those types of things. This is mostly for communication. This also doesn't track work either. There are usually separate tools for tracking work. And I would like to get to the point where we do have a ticketing system to manage our actual work someday, sometime.
I think
we'll probably start with the tech people first on that.
Yeah.
9 miles away.
But so
Exactly.
see here. Let's see here. This isn't the channel that I meant to join. If I go into one of the SMAC channels here, we should have. Yeah, so here's like something that was shared from Google Docs. I apologize, the projector isn't that great, but this is something that was shared from Google Docs. It's actually the agenda for tonight's meeting. Okay, so Susie shared it in here, and then I modified it a little bit through Google Docs.
Okay, so the doc is still sitting in Google Docs.
Mhm.
This
This is just a link to it. But it can be kind of more interactive than that too. So some things can actually show previews in there and all sorts of things. It's a really powerful tool.
And if you have questions, find us on Slack.
Yeah. Our goal is to get everyone onto Slack, and then from there we can answer anything.
Yes. Like, so if an LD like Marcia, right? If she needs help with something,
Right.
she's just like, at John
Oh,
Cesario,
thank you.
give me some help now, and I can do that right then and there. And that's what I want to get to.
Social media.
I just can't see my keyboard in the dark here.
Right.
Maybe instead of telling ghost stories, I should light myself too.
Oh, yeah, password.
Oh, that looks a little bit more like a ghost story.
I'm not
All right.
sure your password.
So if you signed in on the sign-in sheet tonight with your email address, I am going to use that email address to send you an invitation later tonight. If you've already been sent an invitation and you have not yet accepted it, I'm actually going to resend your invitation from the previous time so that you'll see a new email. please follow through, join it, get in there, use your full name, and there's lots of helpful people in there that can help you out past
I
that.
don't
Yes.
have to do anything.
You do?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I don't have to do anything.
So,
Yeah, no,
so also after the live stream is over, I'll pass out my number. Maybe John will pass out his. If you need any like one-on-one help to get this done, by all means, contact Frank. Is also a great resource too. I'm volunteering here to help as well. Thanks, Frank, for volunteering.
There are also some pretty excellent tutorials on the
There
Flex.
are.
There really, really are.
But if you do
Actually,
need
at
help,
the wheel.
don't be afraid to reach out.
Actually, some of the LDs are also making their own tutorials. Cassie Barbieri in LD27, she just did a presentation last night. She's even got PDFs, I think, around.
We need to get her in here if we. She's actually a pretty good resource. I'll make sure to talk to her tonight to see if she wants to join. Because she's done good work.
So we will get you all on Slack. Once you're in there, like it tells you to go in the intro channel, introduce yourself, and then also search in those channels for SMAC channels and get into the SMAC channels. And that's where we'll post I'll take the videos later tonight and I'll actually type out notes from it. That's where we'll post the notes. It's where I'll actually post the URL for the final video, etc. So,
can you maybe show off the find the channel thing like real quick again?
Yep. So if you click on,
Where did you
let me
click?
start over again here. At the top here, you actually see channels. And
You just
if you
click on
highlight
one.
it, it says browse all channels. And then in here, you can actually search, right? So I can search for SMAC. And here are the channels that have SMAC in the title of them. So there's only one that I am not now a part of with this user that's going to get deleted in just a little bit here. The other thing, guys, is when you first click on that channel, it's actually just going to show you a preview of it. You have a little button to just go ahead and join it.
Right.
And then you're in it.
Then you're in there.
Yep.
I don't know if I agree with this EULA.
Well, I mean, just
I
don't
guess
read
I
it.
can always drop out later.
If you don't read it, it's a lot easier to accept.
How do you know whether it's a private channel?
Okay,
or
but I won't go away.
So-
That's a great question.
Yeah, there would appear a little lock next to it. Here, why don't we go ahead and create a private channel so you can see that? I don't want to show you
Okay.
the super secret private channels that
I
I'm
won't
in.
go away, Matt. I'll just go away.
The question was, how do you know whether or not you're in a public or private channel? So John is creating a private channel. You see up at the top, that little toggle is went from public to private. Now the main difference, which you can barely see, is that if you look to the left, I'm sorry, I'll sneak in here. If you look on the left here, this right here, the little icon on the left, see these are
Maybe
actually
if it's not highlighted.
like these are hash tags. So these ones are little padlocks.
It looks like a padlock. on
And
the
that's
top.
private. So that means that no one can get in there unless you invite them, and no one's going to be able to see the chat going on in there, period. Not even the admins or founders. It is private.
Okay.
So if you are, let's pretend that you're a candidate and you want to talk your super secret campaign methods in there, you could. It is
Yes.
safe.
By all means. But as always, maintain professionality. Like keep it professional.
2 weeks ago in LD18, 63% of the messages that we sent.
Exactly, and that's that's good. That's a good sign, right? That's actually that's great because people are using it. People are forming working groups, and they're hopefully doing productive things.
Okay. So I'm just looking at this one that Susie created for our LD. So in order to get more members to that particular channel, you have to invite them.
Yes, you do. And honestly, like in normal organizations where there's 5,000 or 6,000 people working on this, it makes sense to have huge numbers of channels with sub-working groups and whatnot. We have like 100, so we could probably all fit in general just fine and not worry about it.
But we're working on getting more people.
Yeah, but also whatever makes you feel comfortable. Your LD wants your own chat room. Do that.
Yeah.
Do
And
what works for you.
The other thing is, I know you can't read that necessarily, but here I'm doing an @ mention. I'm doing @ Bojung, and we're in this channel that's private. So it's actually going to pop up and tell me that I mentioned him, but he's not in it.
Yeah.
And it's going to give me the opportunity to invite him to
That
join
says,
it.
you message Bojung, but he is not in this private channel. They will have. Do you want to give them access, or no, or do you want to just send them this message privately?
And that would also happen in any channel. It would ask you if you want to invite them if they aren't already in it. It doesn't double ask unless it's a private channel.
Invite's a little bit of a misnomer, though. It actually just joins them. To
Yeah.
the channel.
Yeah, they don't really have a choice.
Yeah, they join right in.
In other words, you don't have as long as it's not a private channel, anybody can invite him in who's a member of that channel.
But the same thing in a private channel. If you're invited in, anybody in a private channel can invite someone else into a private channel.
Oh, it's not like another program that I've.
No.
In other words, you can't restrict the access.
Well, I mean, if you just don't invite them, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, the truth is once they're a member.
Anybody you invite is essentially a full-on administrator.
Of that small channel.
Of that channel.
tiny
Yeah,
channel.
not of Slack as a whole.
Correct.
Correct.
So anybody can invite anybody into a channel.
Yes, as long as it's private. Yes, but that's actually what we use it for in tech. Is like, so and so could probably help us with this, and then they are immediately dragged into the channel to help you. That's kind of.
So this is the AZDEMS channel that we're in here, right?
This is kind of the MCDP Slack.
Yeah, it's for Maricopa County, but the team name is AZDEMS, and then you'll notice that it's titled AZ Blue.
Yes, we are not. This is not the official AZDEMS
Correct.
Slack. We're not trying to be the official AZDEMS Slack.
I don't
The
see
close-
AZ Blue yet, but I see AZDEMS in the address bar.
Yeah, that's just the address bar, but the actual name is AZ Blue because we didn't want to have anybody confused. And you'll only ever see the address bar for a little bit, and most of the time you'll be working with the name, which is AZ Blue.
And if you were in through the client, you wouldn't even see.
Yes, we have plenty of ADP vice chairs in here. So don't bring everyone. Like this shouldn't. I mean, this shouldn't be. You shouldn't be asking every single Democrat in the state to be on here. These are the people you want to work with.
So a lot of ADP vice chairs are on Slack.
We have a bunch of them on
Yeah,
here.
Karen is on there.
They've been very
Sue
responsive.
Kastner.
Burns in there.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is this is not social media. This is a working.
Right.
This is
This
productivity.
is for This is for people who are working.
This is just for us conspirators.
Yes.
You can make a channel if you want to socialize and get people to socialize with you in there.
But keep it professional.
Right.
Yeah.
Like John said, these are records that are subpoenaed, able to be subpoenaed.
Yeah. And we want them to be because we want to use them for productivity. We want to get things done. That's the goal at the end of the day.
But any email you send into the organization is the same.
Exactly. Be professional.
Yeah, and don't get into squabbles about which presidential candidate you prefer and how much you hate the other one and all that shit.
Yeah, that's not what this is for. You guys are welcome to do that over coffee, or
I guess if you want to do it in the random channel, you could. But really, let's try to keep inside that general channel. Let's try to keep it as productive
I'll just do it on my
conversation.
personal timeline.
Yeah, if I see people arguing, I'm not going to tell you to stop doing that, but I'm going to encourage you to be productive instead of not productive.
Well, the good thing is this is not a public social media.
So yes,
this
you
is
could.
a private social media.
Yes. So like John
So if we
said,
get pissed off at somebody, then we're pissed off within the family.
Yes.
well, yes, exactly. But again, what we want to if you want to talk privately with people, this is the place to do it.
That
There
would
are
be-
professional conversations.
And
you
that
need
would
to
be
have
preferable to getting in a squabble with your drunk uncle, the Slack channel.
Exactly. You take it to direct messaging, and hopefully we can all just be civil and work together to accomplish.
Oh, do
it.
they have direct messaging in here and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is, we were showing on the other side here. When I first joined, Bo messaged us. We actually created a small group.
So do you see this
of
right
people.
here? Do you see where it says direct messages? So
Oh.
John, can you go ahead and click direct
I
messages?
don't have that. I have the Stripe, but there's nothing in it.
Let's help.
I think you have to click that you want to join yet.
Frank,
still
you're,
have that welcome screen there.
Frank, you have an easier way to get over there.
Go to the bottom.
Skip the tutorial.
Yeah, let's go ahead and turn the lights back
There
on.
you go.
Oh, okay.
The
Oh,
projector
oh,
isn't doing too much for
That
us.
should help anyways.
AZ Blue. Okay.
Welcome. Welcome to Slack,
Oh, yeah, easy.
where work happens.
So are there any questions on Slack?
So we need a username that's not our real name.
No, it doesn't. We would prefer it to be your real name.
Oh.
We're actually. I've been pretty strict about that. If people come in with some fun username, and also your username is different from your display name. But please be professional. Use your real stuff. If you have a bunch of fake names or fun names, I will probably direct message you and ask you to change it. If you don't change it within a reasonable amount of time,
When I first got in here, it had my real name, first and last.
Yes.
And then it said make up a username. So I figured that meant that my real name is not what I should use for a username. Is that right or not?
I use my real name.
So I use like John.Furr.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I just use my email username.
Sure.
That'll be fine.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. The
Well, I can
most
take-
important thing is that for your full name, it is your actual full name. That is the most important thing out of that. The username, we would like to reflect your name.
Well, I could just use my real name then,
Yes, absolutely.
with capital letters and everything.
Sure. And
That's
then
what
you'll
I do.
see, like, Frank just messaged me there, so there's a direct message. I know it's really not clear. I'm sorry.
Although I did say to make it all lowercase.
Well, no,
Yes.
if the purpose is to work, then, which is the purpose of the whole thing, then you want you out there and direct.
Now-
Not be
I don't know where
cute.
that
Right.
Don't be
username
cute.
came.
Now when
I
you
can't help it.
when you join, you like I said, you got that Greek bot. It's going to tell you to modify your profile. So let's talk about profile a little bit really quick. So if I go in here and I click on the top where there's a little drop down disclosure,
Show that
easy
real
blue.
clearly. Look over here. So on the top left, there's a little upside down
Mm-hmm.
triangle. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
If I click on that, I can go and look at my profile, and then I can edit my profile.
And that was in the top. And so go back. Let's show that off on the screen
Yeah.
again. So so he clicked on the little caret and he said, "Manage my profile."
Profile and account.
Yep. And so on the right hand side, this shows up here. And on this button right here, there's something that says Edit Profile. You see here. So after he's clicked on the caret and he's gone to Manage Profile, is everybody with us?
I don't have that hieroglyph there.
You will.
Okay.
Let's Frank, can you say
That
about
lovely, colorful lab thing. Which tartan is that, by the way?
It's actually a small portion of the SLAP logo.
You click up there.
What am I doing up here?
Yeah.
Where it says AZ Blue?
Yeah.
Oh,
If
look
you
at
were to
that.
Go down to your profile and account. That's
Right.
Oh, okay.
And so then on the right side, you're
So
going
I
to
can
see
mess
the
with
new,
that.
the new window pop up. And say Edit Profile.
Uh-huh.
And now once you've gone to Edit Profile, you have the various fields that you can edit. So
Okay.
you can say first name,
All right.
last name, and then
No.
what
don't
I
think
do.
we're-
If you a nice little small sentence of what you like to do and the skills,
talk
after
about
things,
what our next time
status.
the next meeting
I'm out of
will be,
town until May.
and then we'll actually
Happen to me,
finish up
and
with
phone
the
number as
ready
well.
on us.
You can do voice and video chat through here if you want to.
Yeah. So when you have what I do there, that's where we'd like you to enter in your LD and what your role is there, right? So if you're a PC, put in PC LD20 or whatever it is.
Yes.
You know, if you're on the SMAC committee for your LD, put that in there.
That's so funny.
What?
What's up?
SMAC committee for you. My LD doesn't.
Well,
We're gonna work on that.
I think it does.
Well, it has a committee of one.
Yeah, you're right.
I think it does.
Committees of one are generally very effective at doing things.
I think so.
There's certainly no arguing.
Are always unanimous.
Yeah. So are there any other
But they're very
questions
long.
on Slack?
or highly ineffective.
I think
What's
it's
my
pretty
status?
straightforward.
So what's your status? You don't have to worry about that. Like it's
Okay.
not. People use it. Sometimes people put funny pictures in there. Sometimes people say I'm on vacation. Sometimes people say I'm out of town.
Oh,
I like to put a picture of Bo Jung in there because me and him have this little thing that we do.
Mine has a
Yeah,
picture of
that's
flaming
Do
poop
you
in
want
my work
to
one.
go over some
Yeah.
notifications?
Oh yes, let's show off notifications on the phone and on the desktop because that was something I got a lot of questions
Sure.
of is how to configure that.
Sure,
So a
sure,
lot of
sure.
people. So notifications are if someone direct messages you. Do you want it to blow up your phone at 12 o'clock at night? Because it can.
Let me get logged into the actual client really
Okay,
quick.
and we're going to show off
And
how,
then we'll do
how
that.
to customize that because you can set it up so that you get notifications on your phone.
What's the difference between the messaging in this program versus the messaging in, let's say, Facebook?
Well, this is a team organization. In Facebook, you're not going to be able to create a team of people you work with and have a directory of them in a working environment unless you are maintaining that group at all times. That's just group chat rather than an organizational structure. Like, so for example, if you in Facebook, if you wanted to take the 5 people that you need to work on a website, you would have to go find them, be friends with them and whatnot.
Right.
This is guaranteedly people who work. This is what we do
Oh,
on here.
okay.
We're not outreach. We are not bringing just random voters in here. These are workers. So
Facebook, you have to be friends. Plus, it will blow up your phone every time, no matter who adds to the group.
Yes.
Whereas in Slack
Wow.
here, you can remove yourself from a room, come back in, see the progress.
Yeah.
You can mute alerts for a certain amount of time and all that.
say you had a
You
discussion
have to be a
about
friend of somebody on Facebook.
say you had a discussion on a website, and then you wanted to also take some of those people and move on to a campaign. In Facebook, you would create a completely new group chat, right?
Uh-huh.
It'd be very efficient to manage that. And here,
Uh-huh.
you would simply create a new channel.
invite those people in, and they were already part of your directory, and then that would persist. You wouldn't have to recreate it every time. This would be a channel anyone could come into when they wanted to. I think the usefulness of it will be self-evident as everybody starts to use it, and why it's good, and why it's a productivity tool rather than just a communications tool.
Yeah. Let's see if I can make this a little bit better. Not as much.
Oh, much better.
Can I, Jay, can I get you to move your laptop a little?
I'm sorry. Go ahead
Did
and
you
start
get
my
rid of the lights
battery
again?
and shut it off.
All right.
Is that Frank?
Get rid of the lights again?
Yeah. We're gonna show off something.
All right. So this is actually the client. This projector has a pretty low resolution.
We're in like reader sizes.
Yeah. So this is actually the client, and if we're talking about notifications, there's a few different places where you can modify what the notifications are. Let's start with if you're in a channel and you want to change the way that notifications work just for that channel. You can click on the little gear icon at the top of the channel, and then go down to notification preferences. So now in here, I can choose what I'm going to get for my desktop notifications, my mobile notifications, and then there's remember we talked about app mentions? You can actually app mention everyone to get everyone who's in the channel. Same thing with at channel or at here to get everyone that's in the channel, and it would send them a notification unless they had this disabled here.
Every single person in there would get a mention on their phone, and then they would promptly yell at you because it's very annoying to do.
Yes. So you have different choices, right? You have activity of any kind for a desktop notification, just mentions of your name or highlight words that you say that uses that, or nothing. Same thing for your mobile notifications. And then you can mute those at everyone, at here, at channel notifications so you don't get them if people use them. I think you should leave them on, and we should be, careful in how we use them, but they are useful.
Nobody's abused it yet, and if they do, we'll take care of it.
Yeah. And then you have the option just to mute this channel entirely. In other words, not get any notifications from the channel at all.
Okay, you also said that you could have like a video conferencing.
You can. I would prefer, honestly, in my opinion, Google is better at this, but you can do that here. And why don't you go ahead and, in the direct message you started with me, you can.
No, you can do some type of conferencing probably in Facebook too, but.
Both Slack and Facebook are a little limited.
Do we
with
want to get through the options he was
Let's just
talking
talk about
first?
text chat first.
Yeah. So you can also do that, right, for any of your conversations with individuals. I thought you could.
Yeah, I think it's under view conversation. That's where you can set things like retention and stuff like that. But I think that's actually only in enterprise.
Okay.
You get alerted automatically.
There's some stuff you can do in enterprise, like modify retention and other things for direct messages. But we are on the free version. It's actually pretty expensive to go to enterprise. I don't see that happening. But
yes.
The free version has a limit of 1,000 people. And if we ever hit that many people on here, that's a good problem to have.
And if we have 1,000 people,
a few bucks a person can take care of this.
Yes. So
you mean 1,000 for AZ Blue?
We're in this team.
Just for this team.
Okay.
That's AZ Blue.
So if
we
you
can set up a new team with the big.
We don't want to do that. We actually want as many people in this one team as possible, letting them self.
This is like when we talk about that mission statement of trying to build a framework, right? This is part of how we want to accomplish that.
Yeah.
So really quickly, guys, if you want to handle your notifications settings overall, again, if you click on that little caret disclosure up here, you get the drop-down menu. If you go into preferences, the first thing there is actually notifications, and you can change your notification settings overall. And the more important thing, I think, is do not disturb. So if you like to sleep and not get notifications, by default, it's actually going to have a time in your time zone of 10 to 8 for that do not disturb. You can change it to whatever you'd like.
I turn mine off. If you want to ping me at 1 a.m. and go to work, I'm in.
That's, again, tech people in general. We take calls 24/7.
Also highlight the fact that you use it right off.
So I'm a teacher, and during work time, I snooze it for 8 hours because I'm not supposed to be doing anything political contractually.
Yeah, that makes. I mean, that obviously for people who are working don't want to be disturbed, that would be a good idea.
No. So that is it in general.
Do we have any questions? Are you curious about anything?
How did you get to that preferences page?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of things, right? A lot of things that are kind of overarching like that, you're going to get to by clicking on the disclosure in the upper left-hand corner.
Oh, okay.
And that's where you can get to, again, your profile. But preferences is where we were there. If you go into preferences, you'll have all sorts of settings on the left-hand side here, but the top one is notifications. And you can modify your notifications there.
So if you go out of here, right on the main one, if you see that little bell up there, you can click that too and silence notifications right off the bat.
Right, for a period of time.
Yeah, so real quick.
So you can use this for like different things or something like that, like for canvassing or something. If you wanted to.
If you had 5 people in a canvassing group, you guys would start up your own little channel, and then all of you would have Slack on your phone, and then no matter where you are, you guys can be like talking to each other, working through the problems, and it's a little more efficient than say text messaging or Facebook group messaging.
Yep.
So you could do this on a smartphone too.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, if you go, any of your smartphones definitely have an app for Slack.
Oh, okay.
You can
So do
log
your
in.
tablets?
Yeah, tablets.
So that's probably easier than using your web browser.
Absolutely.
Oh yes.
Web browser's kind of just to get signed in, and then after that, the first thing I do is grab the client.
And once we get all our PCs on the van, then we have to introduce them to the minivan.
I mean, I'm on my
That
phone.
really
and
makes it.
Yeah,
I'm
makes
saying
it
I
easier
down
for
again.
canvassing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so Frank is direct messaging me here. I can respond to him if you really.
And so he's on his phone and talking to John on
Emoticons.
his computer.
We're not going to hug or kiss. We'll just we'll grimace. Frank scares me.
But I love you.
So I mean, but you guys get the general idea. So we are really at the end of our time now. We're not going to get to the rest of the agenda. We'll save it for the next time. But one thing we do want to make sure we settle really quick is we have a suggested time for our next meeting of June 1st, and that would again be at 18:30. Is that okay with everyone?
Let me look. Is that on a Thursday?
That's the Thursday.
Yeah.
Are you
So,
trying to say 6:30 p.m.?
18:30.
Ah.
She's saying it's on.
Very good measure.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that conflicts with me going to a PDA meeting.
PDA meeting?
Oh.
Yeah, Progressive
Is
Democrats.
that the first Thursday of the?
Yes.
Okay.
You're talking about East Valley PDA.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how about the second Thursday? Does anyone have a conflict with the second Thursday?
I don't.
Second Thursday of June.
So
No dissenters.
What's that date?
That's
That's
the
eighth.
June 8th at 18:30. That's 6:30 in the evening.
Right. June the 8th.
Cool. Everybody making a calendar invite? I know I am.
You'll also see that on
I'm
Slack again, and we'll talk more about it as we approach it, but it is obviously wise to put it in your calendars now.
Again, it conflicts with LD24, but
Does it?
It's nearly impossible.
but this one does
Yeah.
too. So this week does too.
There's so many LD meetings you're gonna miss. Some of them, like yeah.
Let's see here.
I'm sure we all have enough Democrat meetings in our lives that we can just focus. This is good. We need people here doing stuff.
Well, we have to go to our LD meeting. So,
Yep.
If the calendar is up to date on AZ Dam or on Maricopa Dams, then all the LD meetings will be listed.
Yeah,
And,
it's
all the
pretty
Jewish-
hard to
all
find
the
it.
Jewish
Yeah,
holidays,
it's
too.
difficult. It's difficult to not conflict. But what we'll do is we'll set it tentatively for the 8th at 6:30 p.m.
Yep.
And then once you all get in Slack, we'll make sure that we confirm there. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
In there already.
So
It's
tentatively, our next
I'm not,
meeting
but
is
I
what?
will
Oh,
be on
June
it.
Tell me your
8th.
name again.
Okay.
Michelle
At 6:30
Harris,
p.m.
Michelle
Do you want to stop
Yeah.
broadcasting, John, at this point?
Michael Harris.
Right.
Michelle and Michael.
Real quick, everyone.
Hold on, John.
Thank you.